All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our post-race coverage. Let's get this underway. So as soon as we get the points, we're going to talk about the playoff positions. But for now, let's go through our race recap. I'm glad I already put there at the bottom of our graphic, Blaney wins at New Hampshire, because that's what ended up happening. Let's go ahead and get a few things pulled up here. So to open our day, the Mobil won 301 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Kurt Busch gave our command to start the engines. Great to see Kurt Busch. Wish he was still racing, but, you know, this is what we have. Good to see Daytona. Johnson fan. King is dead. And then to start our race off, Joey Logano led them from the inside. Ryan Blaney on the outside. And, you know, the Penske car started off strong, and they stayed strong throughout the race. We'll talk about that as we go on. And our first, we had a very long run to start the race in stage one. And then on lap 63, we have this incident. Austin Dillon into the back of the 51 of Cody Ware, rattles his cage, and a close call here. Let me pull this up for you guys. An extremely close call for our leader, Ryan Blaney, and our eventual race winner, Ryan Blaney. Look at that. Just 6 inches of difference. And Ryan Blaney finishes 20th. You know, this could have ended Ryan's day pretty much. If Dillon had checked up a bit more, if Ryan hadn't have gotten on the brakes so well, if the 51 had come up the track, as you know, there's so many different things that could have happened here that could have taken Ryan out of the way. Yeah, the King is down. I was also rooting for Barry there. So that was our first caution for incident. Ryan Preece received the free pass. And then on lap 70, Ryan Blaney led them off. And on lap 82, Josh Berry spins after contact with Shane Van Gisbergen battling for 5th in turn 2. Let's see if we get a replay of that. So there's our spin here. Now, Josh Berry, you know, having a good finish, he had to recover from this incident. SVG maybe getting into him. 21 definitely coming down the track a bit. So just seemed like a racing deal. I don't put a ton of blame on either of these guys. But if you look, SVG doesn't really come up the track at all. You know, if anything, the 21 was just trying to pinch off the 88. And he ends up spinning there. But he did have to come back from that. So that was our second caution from the incident. Now, as we see here, Ryan Blaney was our stage 1 winner. So let's go ahead and look at our stage 1 results. So taking stage 1, Ryan Blaney receiving 10 stage points. Joey Logano getting 9 stage points, finishing 2nd. 3rd, William Byron. 4th, Josh Berry. 5th, Carson Hocevar. 6th, Kyle Larson. 7th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 8th, Alex Bowman. 9th, Tyler Reddick. And 10th, Michael McDowell. So at this point in the race, Shane Van Gisbergen was having a great run. You know, at times he was up to 5th. I think maybe he might have peaked at 4th place, but he was up there and competitive. So it definitely seems like his experience in the legend cars lately benefited him here at this fast, flat track. You know, the banking here is down to 2 degrees and only up to 7 degrees. So very flat track. And just missing out on stage points, we have Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, and Christopher Bell. We're not quite ready for the call-in. We'll get to it when we get to it, Johnson fan. So we had our Josh Berry incident on lap 82. On lap 110, Ty Gibbs spins into the wall between turns 1 and 2 after contact from Denny Hamlin. So we had an incident between teammates. So this was a big point in the race. Ty Gibbs wasn't doing anything wrong here. Now, Denny was frustrated because Ty Gibbs is not a playoff driver. Maybe he felt like he was being held up. But Denny just gets in there and pretty much intentionally spins him. I mean, it wasn't the most dirty move, but we definitely see the contact influenced Ty Gibbs and made him go around. Now, Denny Hamlin's team owner is Ty Gibbs' grandfather. And the team that he owns, 2311, is associated with Joe Gibbs. So Denny might want to watch himself. That's not the best thing to do. It's too early in the race to be making moves like this anyway. And as we see, he almost took out Christopher Bell in the process. His teammate also competing for a championship. Almost. So he took out one teammate, almost took out two. Really a selfish move there by Denny Hamlin. And Denny was upset after it. He wasn't apologizing. So kind of a crazy incident there between teammates. But we had already seen Ty Gibbs get into Christopher Bell. And then he's holding up Denny Hamlin. So Ty wasn't cutting any slack to his teammates. They restart. Chase Briscoe leads them off from the outside. And then on lap 148, John Hunter Nemechek spins in turn 3. And this time, he just loses it. I don't see we have a replay for that. I know we had a replay. There we go. There's our replay for the John Hunter Nemechek spin. Now that begs the question, did we miss the earlier caution? Let me make sure we didn't skip anything. Oh yeah, okay. So it just doesn't show it in my notes. So we did have the big one. The big one did strike here at New Hampshire. So this was one of the crazier moments of the race. Kind of a head scratcher. So here we have, I'll circle it with my mouse. We have Brad Keselowski on the inside. He had slowly been working his way up through the field, but he was running around 15th at this time. Runs into the corner, hits the inside wall, takes out SVG, and they end up collecting several good cars. Kyle Busch involved, Suarez involved, Justin Haley involved. So this was the big one. This was kind of our biggest incident here today, and maybe one of our weirder ones. Now, what I think happened here, and my reasoning for it, is perhaps Brad thought SVG was going to trend more up the track and give him more room. I don't think Brad knew SVG had 5 cars to his outside. So he ends up going into the corner, not having any room. SVG doesn't have any room to move, and takes out several good cars. Alex Bowman barely missing out on this. That's when you tuned in. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting time. And I was sad to see the Red Sox car get taken out, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Anyway. Then we had the John Hunter Nemechek spin. And then stage 2, Joey Logano ends up taking stage 2. So the teammates split it. We had Ryan Blaney take stage 1, and Joey Logano will take stage 2. Let us look at our stage 2 results. Joey Logano taking our top spot, 10 stage points. Second, Kyle Larson. Third, William Byron. Fourth, Ryan Blaney. Our first non-playoff driver, Carson Hocevar. He had a good day overall. Sixth, Christopher Bell. Seventh, Chase Elliott. Eighth, Denny Hamlin. Ninth, Chase Briscoe. And 10th, Josh Berry. This was a huge win for Chase Elliott to get these 4 stage points. He had to hold off Denny Hamlin, who seemed faster at the time. So very impressive he was able to do that. And to recover from starting 27th, work his way up to get stage points in stage 2. So very impressive. Josh Berry coming back from also 27th after getting spun. Or spinning himself, depends on how you look at it. Able to come back and get a single stage point. Even though he's, not running for a championship anymore. This was, a good moment, showing character for that team that they didn't give up and they kept trying. Alex Bowman just missing out. also eliminated during our last round of the playoffs, but they did fight throughout the day, and it seems like they just fell off throughout the day, but overall wasn't the worst running. Ross Chastain started up towards the around top 5 position. I think the furthest up he was maybe 4th, but he fell back through the field, so finishes 13th here, misses out on stage points. Tyler Reddick also missing out on stage points. He was in the top 5 throughout the first stage, and then he, fell off throughout the race as well. And a guy who completely missed the mark, Austin Cindric, back there in 17th. And then our lowest playoff driver in stage 2, Bubba Wallace. So let's look at our stage 2 results. So getting back to green flag, Joey Logano leads from the outside. And our next caution for incident was on lap 254. Once again, Cody Ware crashes from 30th position. I don't know if we have a replay of this one. Let's see. I don't think we have a replay of that one. But that did set up some interesting strategy towards the end of the race. Several of the cars came down pit road. Really, most of our front runners came down pit road and took 2 tires, took right side tires, and Josh Berry ended up staying out. That almost won him the race. And if Josh Berry already had the track position, if he hadn't have spun earlier, I think he had the better car there at the end. So this would be a day of what ifs for Josh Berry. So Ryan Blaney takes home our win at New Hampshire. Let's go ahead and look at our race results. So first we have Ryan Blaney. Overall, just had the dominant car most of the day. Really just at the very end did he look like the second best car. Outside of that, he looks like the most or the best performing car throughout the day. Josh Berry, second, came on strong at the end, even on older right side tires. Very impressive run for Josh Berry. And after getting spun, they were able to work their way back up through the field and eventually to the lead. So very impressive day for Josh Berry after finishing last place the last 3 weeks. So kind of a redemption story for Josh Berry, missing out on the win, but he did race his teammate cleanly and, did a good job. Third place, William Byron. That's about where he peaked out today. Pretty consistent. He was throughout the race, usually around 3rd to the lowest, 7th. So, decent day for William Byron. Never really fell back too much. Kind of a quiet day. Not really ever race-winning speed, but definitely a good day overall. A good finish. Yeah, Chase is definitely very consistent. Yeah, we have 3 Bs. Alliteration. Blaney, Berry, Byron. So, fourth, we have Joey Logano. It seemed like he, throughout parts of the race, had a competitive car. When he was out front, he was hard to pass because Joey Logano is probably the best aero blocker there is in the series. And, the Penske Fords, outside of Austin Cindric, had something figured out today. The rest of the field, they were missing out on. And it was oftentimes Blaney, Berry, and Logano would gap the field by multiple seconds. So, but Logano seemed to be the 3rd best between Blaney, Berry, and himself. So he finished kind of accordingly. Chase Elliott finishing 5th. So he started in 27th. This is a championship type day. Being able to work your way forward that far and get a top 5 finish, that's very impressive. Getting points in stage 2. So this could be the day where he earns just enough points to maybe help him make it to the next round. No one's locked in at this point aside from Blaney, but having this good run definitely increases your comfort level, gives you some momentum heading into Kansas. 6th place, Christopher Bell, kind of a slow day. He slowly worked his way forward. Barely avoided, or very narrowly avoided, a couple incidents. And I believe he peaked out in 4th position and ended up falling back a bit at that point, but worked his way back up to 6th. A lot of people chose Christopher Bell. They thought Christopher Bell would win today's race. We'll get there when we get there. If you follow the ticker on the right, that'll tell you where we're at. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, Bell, just a decent enough day. Not really the day that people thought he would have, but I mean, 6th place, not bad. And following up the 1st place win from last week, seems like he may be getting hot. 7th place, we have Kyle Larson. At times, it seemed like he had a car, maybe that couldn't compete for the win, but definitely a top 5 car. He fell back several times, just a couple positions here and there, maybe a position here and there on pit road. But he definitely didn't have a car that was race winning. But it did look like Kyle Larson had a car that could make passes early on. And, you know, at a track like New Hampshire, that's valuable. That's really important. But, you know, Larson's been off since he ran the double. Ran the Charlotte and Indy double, the 1100. And I think that hurt his confidence. And he hasn't really been running like himself. So 7th is a good finish for Larson. 8th, great day for Michael McDowell. I thought Michael McDowell would do a lot better this season. I thought we'd see a lot more competitive finishes for Michael McDowell. He ran around 10th position throughout the day, so 8th position is trending upwards, so good for him. Ross Chastain started, I believe, around the top 5. Ended up following back throughout the race, sometimes back around the mid-teens. So finishing 9th, a great finish for Ross Chastain. I think he still is below the cut line. We'll take a look at that in a second. But this may be, you know, enough to help him, you know, at least start making up ground on the cut line. Chase Briscoe, he finished 1st, and then he finished, what, 2nd or something? Like, he had some good finishes, okay? So it seems like he's been running pretty well. It is a top 10 finish, not the competitive day. Like, JGR seemed fast at times, but they didn't seem like they had race-winning speed. But, you know, decent enough day for Chase Briscoe. Carson Hocevar, 11th place. Ran very well throughout today's race and just fell back a few times. So he definitely has a worse finish than he ran. But overall, especially for, you know, this early in his career, good finish for Carson Hocevar. He was able to keep it relatively clean, didn't spin anyone. So I think that's a win for Carson Hocevar. Denny Hamlin was able to move up. I believe maybe he peaked around 4th or 5th. But fell back. Usually when he would make it inside the top 5, the first thing he would do is lose several positions. So he didn't really have the race-winning speed either. Just a midday for Denny Hamlin. He did take out his teammate, Ty Gibbs. So we'll see if there's any bad blood there. 13th, Austin Dillon. He was the guy that got into the back of Cody Ware to bring out our first caution. But a great run for Austin Dillon nonetheless. It's hilarious that these guys that have, you know, that have been eliminated are having these good finishes now. King is Dead, the super chat for $5. After watching today's race, who do you think will take the cup? Your guess is Byron. The Penske guys seem to pull something out of thin air. They'll run poorly or, you know, average during the season outside of, you know, Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney usually runs decent enough throughout the year, but it seems like Penske kicks it into a different gear when it comes time for the playoffs. So keep an eye on these Penske drivers, and I think today was a warning shot to the rest of the series. This is a flat, fast track. New Hampshire. Phoenix is as well. It's pretty flat and it's relatively fast. So if they perform well here, I think they're also going to perform pretty well at Phoenix. So if they can make it to Phoenix, keep an eye out for them. Keep an eye out. That's all right. That's all right. Let's see. Where were we? See, I lost my train of thought now. Ryan Preece probably finished better than he ran throughout the day, but, you know, 14th position, not great. Alex Bowman, he ran a lot higher throughout the race. Usually he was within the top 10, you know, knocking on the top 5. So finishing 15th, not the finish they wanted, but you know, it was good seeing Alex Bowman run in the top 10. 16th for Noah Gragson. Actually, a really good day for Noah to see him running that far forward. And 17th for Austin Cindric, the one Penske car that couldn't get it figured out today. Blaney was fast. Barry was fast. Logano was fast. What happened to Austin Cindric? What did they do differently on the 2 car that caused them to be so poor, like so awful? And 17th is better than he ran for much of the race. So, you know, they kind of improved throughout the race, but again, I believe he's below the cut line. So they're in danger of not making the next round, which isn't, you know, the most shocking thing. He definitely is the weaker of the Penske drivers, but, you know, he is a skilled racer, so we'll see if he can make something happen over the next couple weeks. Chris Buescher, 18th. 19th, Todd Gilliland in the pickle car. 20th, AJ Allmendinger. 21st, one of our playoff drivers, Tyler Reddick. Not a great finish. Not a great finish. He was running up towards the top 5 earlier throughout the first stage, and then just fell off a cliff later in the race. And that all kind of started when they ended up missing their pit box because Kyle Larson was pulling out when he was trying to pull in. They lost some track position and weren't able to get back to the front. And really just not a great day for the 2311 cars. His teammate right behind him, Riley Herbst, my least favorite 2311 driver. I don't know why this guy is in the Cup Series, but here he is. This is actually a good day for him, finishing 22nd. Brad Keselowski in an injured Red Sox painted car, or a wrapped car, I should say. Brad Keselowski, 23rd. 24th, Cole Custer. 25th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 26th, our lowest finishing playoff driver, Bubba Wallace. Terrible day. They just fell off throughout the day, and he was complaining of a tight end loose-off condition. That's about one of the worst things you can be, because you can't make good entry speed, and then when it's time, so that means you can back up the corner. And so at least if you can back up the corner, maybe you can get a good exit. If you're loose off, that kills your good exit. So you're bad on entry, you're bad on exit, you're bad all over the track. And clearly they didn't figure it out. So 26th position, 27th for Zane Smith, 28th Eric Jones, 29th Ty Dillon. Horrible day for Kyle Busch. He was pretty bad before the caution, before he got into the incident, but especially receiving damage in the mid one, the big one, here at New Hampshire, finishing 30th. Cody Ware, the 12-time NASCAR champion, finishing 31st. Shane Van Gisbergen started off well, but received damage in the crash with Brad Keselowski. 32nd, Justin Haley, finishing the race in what looked like a modified, 33rd. 34th, John Hunter Nemechek, and Ty Gibbs taken out by his teammate, finishing 35th. And Daniel Suarez got a little air during this race, so Air Suarez finishing 184 laps down in 36th position. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. We might be getting to call-in time if we don't have the playoff standings. So let's look for the playoff standings. If we can get the playoff standings pulled up, that's what we'll talk about next. Let's look at our Winston Cup standings. Hopefully they posted these already. Oh, baby, we already have it. So let's look at our Winston Cup points. So Christopher Bell takes a 6-point lead after New Hampshire. So this is the battle we could have for the points if we had the traditional Latford system. Winston Cup, no Pinston Cup. So Christopher Bell would have taken our points lead here. Chase Briscoe losing the top spot, but it's a six-point gap. I mean, that's leading a lap and leading the most laps. And Chase Briscoe would tie it up. Chase Elliott, 71 points back, still manageable. William Byron, 115. Ryan Blaney, 132. So really, any of the guys, especially in the top 7, still feasibly have a path to the championship. So, you know, NASCAR says we need a playoff to make the championship battle interesting. Well, this proves that some years you will have a great battle for the points regardless. Let's look throughout. So where is Josh Berry? So Josh Berry without the playoffs would be 27th in points. Shane Van Gisbergen without the playoffs would be 26th in points. Austin Cindric, also in our playoffs, he would be 25th in points. So this is the kind of drivers that are making it into our postseason because of this stupid win in your end system. The playoffs are bad enough, but the win in your end system, you can't defend it. If you want to make wins mean more, give them 20 extra points, 30 extra points. Don't just lock them in to the playoffs. And if you're going to do a win and you're in, limit it to the top 20 or something. That way you don't have guys back here. Like, imagine if we had a rain shortened race and Cody Ware won. Cody Ware would be locked into our playoffs. He might end up, Cody Ware's 36th in the points. Imagine a 36th points driver in our playoffs and then finishing 16th in the season standings because of the stupid win in your end system. I can't excuse it. I can't excuse it. Let's see if we have our points here. All right, here we go. Not the format I would like to see it in. Let's see if I can get any better. Oh, here we go. Thank you, NASCAR and NBC, for posting the points. So look at our playoff picture. Ryan Blaney locked in. William Byron, 47 points ahead of the cut line. Kyle Larson, 41 points ahead of the cut line. Christopher Bell, 29 points up. Denny Hamlin in 5th, 27 points up. Joey Logano having a really good day, 24 points ahead of the cut line. Chase Elliott recovering very well from his poor starting position, 14 points above the cut line. And Chase Briscoe, 12 points above the cut line. So it seems like Chase Briscoe is getting more comfortable with his JGR cars. So pretty good finish for him. Not on the top 5, not a great finish, but he didn't lose anything really. Ross Chastain finishing well, but he fell off throughout the race, but got a decent finish, and the gap is only 12 points. So a couple of good stage finishes, and he's back in the conversation. Austin Cindric, what could have been? What happened to make him have a different car than all of his Penske brethren? Even the Wood Brothers Penske prepared car finished better than Austin Cindric. So 19 points below the cut line. It was a horrible day for Austin Cindric. Tyler Reddick was running well at the start. Doesn't have a good finish. 23 points below the cut line. In the 23 car, Bubba Wallace, an absolutely terrible day. Even worse than Austin Cindric, which is saying something. 27 points below the cut line. So they're not out of it. You're never out of it, really. You can win and you're in to the next round, but even on points, they're not out of it yet. There's still 2 more races. They have Kansas next week. So any of these guys could win or get a couple of stage wins or high stage finishes and be right back in the conversation. You can't take a breath in the playoffs. The only guy that can somewhat relax is Ryan Blaney. Everyone else still has to be on it. All right, just for the sake of everyone's sanity, we will go to the call-in portion of our stream. Let me separate this. Boop. Boop. Let me go to my Google Voice account. So if the line is busy,
all of us
that means we are on a call. The line is busy. So if you don't get through immediately, once the call ends, feel free to call in. But if you guys would like to call in and share your thoughts on the race, if you have a question, if you have a comment, feel free. And give you guys some time to share your thoughts. If you would like to call through Discord, you can.
We really needed to,
let me open up Discord. I'll have to switch over my source if someone calls through Discord. I have the Google Voice open right now, but yeah, if you want to call through Discord, feel free. It'll just it'll be a second while I set things up.
And Tyler Reddick comes up a little short
if you want to call in through our 615 number,
what was the biggest challenge for you in the 45
and share your thoughts on today's race, feel free to do that as well.
We were having some brake issues, and I feel like just throughout that process, it was kind of hard to identify
your Discord calling, all right.
Bounce on the car, and
Don's events really wanting to call in.
It just seemed like the car got further and further away. So, yeah, head scratching for sure.
I see
based on
Daytona's
how
in the
day started,
general
I thought we
chat
were gonna run inside the top 10
on Discord.
pretty straight up, but yeah, just as the day went on, we just continued to slide backwards. And
At Daytona, if you're wanting to call in
Minus 23
directly,
as you head to Kansas, but
just
Kansas
go to my
historically has
username
been
and
a
just
good
direct
place for
call.
23.
That'd be
11.
the
How much
easiest
ground
way
do
to
you feel
do
like
it.
You can make up next weekend.
it's a good question.
Same goes for you, Johnson fan.
Yeah, you look years ago, that was a place we were really good at. We have struggled for
Oh,
sure there
Daytona's
the last
calling
couple
in.
years,
All
so,
right. Well, Johnson fan,
we got a lot of
you have to wait a
questions
second.
we got to answer, that's for sure.
All right.
I don't think anybody
Good to have you. I don't have you on
wants to
the
run this
stream
bad, I
yet, so
certainly
give me a
don't,
moment.
and I believe that my team doesn't either, so we've just got to figure this out.
Yeah, tough day for 23-11 as a Cup champion.
All right, you are live. What are your thoughts, or what is your question about today's race?
Good race, very good race. I just had one problem with it. It's just like very, very short. There's too many long runs, I feel like.
Interesting. So what do you dislike about the long runs? Is it just like how monotonous it gets, or is it the lack of passing?
There's barely any passing at New Hampshire in the normal. So, I mean, it doesn't really help having these long runs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, some people would probably favor the long runs because it is a more pure kind of race, but NASCAR probably agrees with you because, you know, long runs are the reason why we have the stage breaks, is so the field stacks back up. And honestly, that's one of the more entertaining parts of the race are the restarts. You know, that's when most of the passes happen, a lot of the crazy moves. And so I'm guessing you probably enjoyed stage 2 because there were a lot of restarts.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was really good.
Any other thoughts on today's race?
Not really.
And do you have a championship prediction for us?
Championship prediction is either Logano or Blaney.
Logano or Blaney. I think that's a pretty good pick, especially with how they performed today. Well, do you have anything else, or will that end the call for us?
That'll be the end.
All right. Hey, thank you for calling in, Daytona. Always good to have you in the chat.
Hey, thanks.
All right, Johnson fan. Now is your time. It's your time to shine. If you're ready to call in. Yeah, good call, Daytona. Good thoughts there. I think that's a pretty good pick for a championship prediction. King is Dead thinks Byron. We'll see. Hendrick as a whole, they've been trending kind of mediocre lately. So I'm not too high on the horse of the Hendrick train right now. They are running consistently and they still are high up in the points, but you know, they have to show me something. We haven't really seen a dominant Hendrick run in a while. And there's several times guys like Byron have had the fastest car, but didn't close out. So can they do that? So if you're on Discord, I think you're in our channel's Discord. You can go to my name, just select it, and hit call. I'll go ahead and comment for you so you can find my name. Or if you go to a direct message, I think you've direct messaged me. Yeah, you waved at me. There we go. Johnson fan calling in. Johnson fan, you are on the air.
Okay. So I agree with Daytona. I felt like this race was pretty long run, and in my opinion, tracks like New Hampshire and like worldwide technology are pretty boring when it comes to like cautions and green flags. And I feel like NASCAR needs to make more cautions. I get the stage breaks were like a good invention in my opinion, but we need more cautions, like what they did with Bristol, how they changed like the tires and all that to make more fires and have them like the tires like decrease a lot. So I think they should implement that into most tracks, like others, like other short tracks and intermediates like this, like Martinsville or Miami or something like that.
That's definitely an interesting point. I think you definitely have a point there about the tires. I don't think we saw enough fall off in today's race. I think that would have played a huge difference.
So yeah, I was just saying, like, it's gotten pretty boring in terms of cautions and tire wear because NASCAR has been focusing more about money and the stupid win in your in system, not focusing on what the fans actually want, though.
It's a difficult position for them because not every fan wants the same thing. But
True.
My idea was NASCAR should vote in a president. They should have like former drivers and current drivers vote for who they want to lead NASCAR every 2, 3, 4 years. And that way, people that are actually involved in the industry have faith in the person leading the company. It's not just someone appointed by the France family, but that's a different discussion. Do you have any thoughts on our playoffs or who may win the championship?
So my playoff predictions were pretty rough for the first round. A lot of people are shaming me for picking Shane Van Gisbergen in the Final Four.
It's a bold pick.
That definitely did not turn out well. But I feel like Logano will probably, as we saw today, he's probably gonna like cheat the system like last year, based off of just luck. He just has a way of like being like lucky and knowing when to do good in the situations that he's in. So I feel like Logano will definitely be a contender for the championship, along with Blaney, as we saw today. He definitely could have a really good chance, as he always does at Martinsville. Somehow he has a superpower there. I feel like William Byron and, like I said, Tyler Reddick will go into the championship for, it's kind of like I'm kind of saying like a repeat of last year. But yeah, I thought SVG had the playoff points because he won so many races, but that did not turn out well.
Yeah, he just didn't put together, like, really, he had some of his worst races of the year in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. So kind of like Barry having 3 last place finishes.
Yeah,
it was a lot of people thought SVG might point his way in to the second round, at least the second round, because he did have that cushion. But that went away very quickly, and that's how these playoffs are. You have one bad race, and suddenly you're on the cut line.
True. I also feel like maybe this is the year that maybe Denny Hamlin will walk in and win that championship for once.
It might be his year. He thinks it is, certainly. But today didn't inspire a ton of confidence in me. It wasn't a horrible day, but I mean, he took out his teammates, so it wasn't the best day. But I mean,
you can tell he's being really desperate.
Yeah, Denny. That could be a good thing. Maybe he won't let anyone stand in his way. It's really impressive to me that Denny's running this well this late in his career, because we see, Kyle Busch was having issues, and you can blame that on RCR, you can blame that on his crew chief, but he's having issues. Harvick went winless for a pretty long streak at the very end of his career. And some guys just fall off. So, it's impressive that it's impressive that Hamlin hasn't.
Yeah, Hamlin's one of those guys that, even though he's really old in age and is kind of like that, he can still, he's still winning after a while. And even in his after years, where most drivers, like you said, Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson, has been, fading. But this year we've seen him kind of do good with, 3 or 4 wins and knocked off that first round with a win, I'm pretty sure. And I think that he can do it at Kansas. I think SVG will take it off at the Rebel though.
That'll be interesting to see. That'll be interesting. All right. Thank you for calling in, Johnson fan. Very interesting
You're
points
welcome,
here.
Izzy.
Oh, I'm sorry I cut you off there, Johnson fan. If anyone else wants to call in, feel free to call in through our Discord or the 615 number. Either way, we'll get you on air. But if not, we'll move into our other stories segment. We'll look for some other stories to talk about. May preview next week. Talk about what's going on in the sport of NASCAR. Next week should be good. We have an ARCA race. We have an Xfinity race. The Xfinity are probably going to put on a fantastic race at Kansas. And I think the next-gen car is going to do very well at Kansas. The only worry, and this is common with the next-gen car, is will aero be an issue? Richard Fulmer had a comment. It's the age-old question of who owns the business, fans, drivers, owners, or TV stations. Well, that's a good point. It's a good point. NASCAR is a family-run company as of now. They haven't sold out to a third party, but they're really beholden to the TV networks. Deaver, you calling in? I'll give you a call back. I think Jerry's going to share some thoughts with us. Jerry, you're on air. Waiting on you. I think he's having some technical difficulties. When you're ready, just chime in. I'm gonna go ahead and look and see if we have any other stories today. I'm not sure why you can't talk. Maybe want to restart the app and try again, or make sure your mic is selected, or you can just call in through the 615 number. Either way, we'll try to get you on air. A little look at I spelled NASCAR wrong. It would help if I spelled that correctly. Let's see what people are saying on the NASCAR Twitter in the meantime. Well, the 40s is old for NASCAR drivers. A lot of guys start to fall off when they hit that 4.0. They may have a few good seasons left in them, but eventually they get to the point where they start to fade. There's examples that go against that. There's guys who have maintained competitive runs, like Mark Martin had good runs, especially 2009. BFB said, I told you before Ryan Blaney would be the new champion this year. That was a very impressive run today. That was very impressive, and like I said earlier, it's a flat, fast track. I think that bodes well for him if he can make it to Phoenix, but that's a big if. It's a really big if. And Martinsville is a shorter track, but Logano's usually good there. Perhaps we see Blaney also run pretty well there. King is Dead thinks Byron's going to be the champ. Interesting. Oh, okay. Let's call him. I missed the call. It didn't ring. So let me go ahead and get this set up. Go back to our properties. One moment.
All
right, you are live.
Oh, howdy. Howdy, AZ. How are you today?
We are doing fantastic.
Fantastic. Did you enjoy the race?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good.
Think so? Well, I just want to know who do you think the favorite is to win the Cup Series championship? I want to hear what you have to say.
And is that it? Just short and sweet?
You know what?
Is that all you have, or
and what is your favorite topping on tacos?
Favorite topping on tacos? cheese, I guess. I just like the Taco Bell soft taco. Cheese, lettuce. Interesting question there. But favorite, I mean, this could be Denny's year. He's ran pretty well at different points throughout the year. I thought Bell might have had a chance to get hot again. He won 3 races in a row early in the year and then just went quiet for the summer. And then he won at Bristol. So that was interesting to see. But this performance by Penske really impressed me. So right now, it's trending more towards Penske. The Hendrick guys are still in it, 3 of them. Larson, Byron, and Elliott. But I haven't seen race-winning speed from Hendrick in a while. So
do you feel like NASCAR is more of a hot hand type of thing? Where,
exactly.
say, like, you get in the playoffs in college football, whoever's the hottest team, they typically end up winning the championship. That's how you think NASCAR is too?
With the way the playoffs work out, 100%. Before, when it was a season-long championship, if you had enough points built up, you could afford to have bad races. Now in the playoff system, if you have one bad race, you might get eliminated. And definitely under the old chase system or under the playoff system in the Gen 6 era, you could be good. You could go on a 7 or 8 race streak of finishing in the top 5. But with this next gen car, you rarely see anyone perform well over, let's say, a 3 race run. They're at least going to have one stinker in there somewhere. So it's hard to stay hot. But that really is how it is in this playoff era. It's who gets hot at the right time. And you kind of want to peak in that last round. You know, you have to run consistent enough to make it to the second to last round. But if you can win at Martinsville, or if you can win, I believe at Talladega, or any of those, you know, one of the last tracks we go to, then you lock yourself into Phoenix and you just focus on Phoenix. And if you're already hot, if you have that momentum, you've been running well, you have the confidence, then you're probably going to run better at Phoenix. But it seems like in a lot of these Penske championships, Logano, Blaney included, they didn't run championship caliber all season. It's during the playoffs they pull something out of midair. Just no clue where the speed comes from, but they have it during the playoff season. So I definitely think it's whoever gets hot.
Doing it throughout the season, being slow on purpose. Do you think they're doing that during the season to kind of look like a underdog throughout the season, so they can just make that big jump to the end?
That's a theory, and that is definitely something you can do now in the age of winning. You're in. You win a race, you can just experiment the rest of the year until the playoffs start. So you can be working on potentially new technology, new innovations, while everyone else is focused on winning. So if it doesn't work, it's no sweat off your brow. You are locked into the playoffs already. So maybe they were trying out stuff. But I just know last year, Joey Logano was 14th in points and won the championship. So the playoff system is unpredictable and too gimmicky for my taste. But, you know, some people...
Do you think the playoff system is too complicated for the average person? And do you think that's why the NASCAR numbers have gone down? How do you have a certain playoff format that you would prefer?
No playoffs.
No playoffs at all?
No playoffs at all. The most tolerable thing they could do is if they had a full round of 3 races, and they're considering going to that. Going to a format where there are multiple races in the final round. That would be more tolerable. Even better is if they went back to the old chase format, where it was 10, even to 12 drivers, and they ran the final 10 races of the year. But even that's kind of silly, because let's say in football, you played your whole season, you finished 14-2. So you have 14 wins, you're leading your standings, but then suddenly, when the postseason would start, everyone's record resets. You have no advantage, you're not locked in, and suddenly you have why did you win 14 games if it resets? It's kind of silly that NASCAR does it. It's kind of silly that, in my opinion, they have stage racing. Because, again, with the football analogy, let's say your team gets up 28-0 at half. Imagine at halftime if they came back and the score is just 0-0 suddenly. That wouldn't be fair. And it takes away from the spirit of racing.
Now you put it that way, just everything seems silly.
It is extremely silly, and the reason they're doing it is they want to be like stick and ball sports with a playoff and with Game 7 moments. That's what we used to hear from Brian Vance all the time. We want to have Game 7 moments in NASCAR. You don't manufacture a Game 7. Game 7s happen naturally. That's why they are special. And if you want to be like stick and ball sports, they don't reset the score halfway through the game. So why do we do it during the race? Why do we do it during our playoffs? It's what we have right now, and it's up to the drivers to capitalize on it. I just think it cheapens the sport because you don't see a playoff format in, I don't think, any other form of racing. You don't see it in IndyCar, you don't see it in F1, you don't see it in IMSA. And so if you're a motorsports fan, let's say you're a F1 fan primarily, when you look at NASCAR and the playoff system, I don't think you're going to see that and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. I want to watch more of that. You're going to look at it a little weird. Like, why is this a thing?
That's a very good point. I appreciate it. You definitely know a lot more about NASCAR than I do, and I wanted to hear it from somebody that would be able to explain it better. That's why I called you.
Thank you. Yeah, good to hear from you, Jerry.
Like I said earlier, elite ball knowledge.
Thank you. So,
also, one thing I didn't like, though, is your taco comment. You can't tell me you don't like at least some onions, maybe some tomatoes on top of your taco.
Negative. That's too much. That's too much.
And I heard you're not the biggest fan of sour cream.
Sour cream is slander. That is true. I'm not the biggest fan, but give me some Taco Bell Nacho Bell Grande nachos. That sour cream on there, it works. But yeah, I'm not the biggest.
I'm all natural. I'm not that Taco Bell stuff.
You're not about the Taco Bell life?
No, the last time I ate Taco Bell, I felt like I was gonna die.
I have never had a gut reaction to Taco Bell, so I don't know what people are talking about. I think it's propaganda. Yes, I know about the Y2K menu. I had Taco Bell like 2 days ago.
Did you try the Taco Bell wings when they came out?
No, I didn't. I haven't even tried their chicken. I go there for soft tacos and nachos. That's the
you're
two
afraid
items I
to.
get.
You know something's wrong with it. You're afraid to.
Oh, Review Bra. You know him, the guy who does the food reviews in the suit and tie.
Yeah.
He gave them a bad review, so I trust his opinion. I also don't like their sauces that they had for the chicken. If they had a sweet and sour, I would have thrown down.
Sounds like you need to do a food review.
No.
NASCAR to food review during the week.
Yeah, maybe if I get desperate enough, we'll see.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call, AZ.
Thank you so much. That was Jerry, folks. So Jerry and I, we play Call of Duty together. So if we ever go live with Call of Duty again, or if we go live in the future with Battlefield 6, usually I'll be playing with Jerry. So he uploads to his channel. I think his name is Jerry is my Xbox name. I think that's his name over on Twitch. So go give him a follow over there. He also uploads to YouTube. So always fun to hear from Jerry. If you just search AZtronics on YouTube, you'll probably find one of his videos because he has me tagged in some of his content. But he is a very good, very skilled Call of Duty player using the unorthodox method. So it's always fun to play with him. He definitely does the outside-the-box stuff. All right. Does anyone else have any thoughts they would like to share for our post-race? If you do, now would be the time. If not, we will start to wrap things up. See if we have any other. Oh, yeah. One big story. Legacy Motor Club and Rick Ware Racing reached charter agreement. So there's a lawsuit going on between the two of them. So it was announced that they will sell one of the charters to Rick Ware Racing. And I think it's believed that that charter is the one that Ryan Preece currently has. So Ryan Preece may be out of a ride. They may have to find another charter to purchase. So if 2311's charters do fall through, I fully expect RFK to be one of the teams that buys a charter because Ryan Preece's charter isn't permanent. Yeah, you can call in again. We'll give you another minute or two. Share more thoughts. I know sometimes, you're talking to somebody and you think of something right after that you wanted to say. So yeah, you can call in again. That's fine with me. Let me just switch the source back to Discord. Yeah, big news between Legacy Motor Club and Rick Ware Racing. So I guess that lawsuit has come to a reasonable conclusion. And, I mean, that's just worrying news if you're a Ryan Preece fan. It seems like as soon as he had it figured out, he may be out of a ride. Worst case scenario. I don't know. RFK may be okay with running an open car. We'll see what happens there. So looking forward to next week. We have the Kansas Lottery 300. That is our Xfinity race. That'll be Saturday at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. And on Sunday, I must have just missed your call, Daytona. I'll give you a call. We have the Hollywood Casino 400 Sunday next week at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And I think we also have an ARCA race, but they don't have that listed here on the JSKI website. So I'm not sure when that one is. All right, Daytona. You are once again live on air.
Hello, chat. Anyways, back to my point. So, I was just thinking about how Byron. So he is about to get himself knocked out if he finishes like he did today, because let me look at these stats real quick. So. Let's see. Last weekend, he finished 12th. And then at Worldwide Tech, he finished in 11th. And then at Darlington, he finished 21st. Like, if he keeps finishing like he did the last 3 weeks, he's going to get knocked out of the playoffs real quick.
That's definitely a concern. I've said it before. I haven't seen much race-winning pace out of any of the Hendrick cars lately. So that's worrying.
Yeah, I feel like Hendrick's gone on a decline since the whole Indy 500 stuff.
We have a call through Google Voice right now.
Here,
I'll give you a call back. But yeah, okay. Daytona, I'll let you wrap up.
I can mute.
You have any other thoughts to share?
Just I just want to say that I hope that everybody can have some better luck than me today. Thanks.
Thank you. Hopefully you have better luck yourself as well.
Oh, but, thanks.
Good to hear from you, man.
Yup, thanks.
All right, let me get things set back up over on Google Voice, and then I can field your call. You are very quick to call back.
Call from
Terry.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello. You're live on air.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Z. Hey, Z. Just want to check in with you and ask you a question about what it would be like with grandpa and grandson over at JGR, because Denny Hamlin is a strong personality, and hate him or love him, he has a lot of influence, and just wondering about the relationship between owner and these drivers, and then his situation, as owner and driver and fighting for points, and the situation 54 has been in with, trying to run better and everything. I just wonder what that meeting is going to be like. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so if you can see the screen right now, there's a meme someone shared. Monday competition meeting, going to be on Microsoft Teams. I'll send the invite. Is Joe Gibbs holding the sign?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. It's difficult because what Denny did, I think, was completely unwarranted. Because that was early in the race when he took out Ty Gibbs. I understand he's frustrated, but let your spotters handle that. Be like, hey, we're running for, a championship here. Maybe get out of the way. But Ty Gibbs, he's still this is one of the issues with playoffs existing, is you have guys that are in, you have guys that are out. So suddenly, if you're not in the playoffs, you're supposed to just be subservient to the guys that are in the playoffs. Was Josh Berry supposed to pull over and let his teammate win?
Right. I mean, it's just like you got two events going on at the same time, kind of like in the races where they have multiple races going on at the same time. I think that was the idea when they thought of it, but it really gets in the way of the whole thing. I'm like you. I would really like to see them not have the playoffs.
Yeah. Sadly, as long as NBC has their say, I don't think that'll happen. But so to bring it back to that last topic, I understand why Denny was upset, and Ty had already gotten into Christopher Bell right before this very incident. So he was racing a little wild out there, and maybe he shouldn't have been holding up his teammate like that. But, from Ty's point of view, he had a very rough start to the year. Several races in, I believe 5-6 races in, he still had less points than Jimmy Johnson, who had only started the 500. It's a horrible start to the year. And did an amazing
and lately
job.
he's gathering it up here at the end.
Yeah, he did an amazing job climbing back through the points, and I think he got back into the top 20. So, a few races go differently, and he may have pointed his way in. But anyway, he had his best run of the year last week at Bristol, and really the best run of his Cup career. He did great in Xfinity, but this next-gen car does not suit Ty Gibbs, obviously. And it looked like he was going to win the race last week until he had issues getting on the pit road. That took him out, so he definitely wanted redemption for that. But, Denny just took him out. So I understand why Denny did what he did, but to complicate it, that's your teammate, so that's a no-no already. You'd never want to be the guy that takes out your teammate. On top of that, and I would hate this, I would hate to drive with someone related to the owner.
I know it. And do you think that the situation where he's one of the older veterans, that he feels like he's not getting respect, that maybe some of these younger drivers ought to be giving a little bit?
That's a issue that's been talked about a lot. Etiquette in NASCAR has gone downhill considerably. And a large part of that is the cars are so planted and so stable. And the composite bodies being a huge factor. Guys feel like they can just, use each other up without much of a penalty. Used to, if you, would run someone close, you risked cutting your tire down and ending your day. Nowadays, it's just, Robin's racing, you just continue on, at least most of the time. And then on top of that, the next-gen car just isn't easy to pass with. And so everyone's taking everything they can get, not giving any, because it's hard to get passes back. And you have to get all the passes you can on restart. So it's just leading to this dirtier style of racing. On top of this, it's more of a paid sport than it has ever been. Pay to play. That's the only reason Riley Herbst is in the Cup Series.
Right.
But they've limited how often the Cup guys can run in trucks and Xfinity. And I think that's a huge mistake. I understand why.
It is.
I understand why they don't want the Cup guys there every week and running for points in Xfinity, because they don't want a situation like Harvick winning 12 races in a year, you know, or Kyle Busch winning 12 races out of the truck season. They don't want to see that. But if I was a fan and I was going to a truck race or an Xfinity race, I would want to see Cup talent out there because they're the draw. You know, that's more of a draw that puts butts in seats, but it also trains up the younger drivers.
It does.
Because when you have young drivers driving against other young drivers, you're not actually showing them the potential of how you should be raced or how the car could be raced.
Well, I appreciate you taking the call, and I've enjoyed the post show and good insight. Doing a great job, and look forward to more races in the future.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good call.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, ladies and gents. Did I just hang up on someone? Let me not do that. I may have just hung up on someone. I'm so sorry if I did. Oh, no. Just had a call back right after we hung up. All right, that's fine. All right, ladies and gents, I think that'll do it for us. You know, we've covered about all that I would like to. If anyone else wants to call in, you know, feel free. But I think that'll just about do it for us. We've had about 1,500 people during the duration of this post-race stream. It's been great. Eventually, one of these days, I'm going to edit this together and post it as a separate video. But it takes a while for YouTube to actually process this. So by the time I get it together, it's kind of not worth it. Oh, we do have a call.
Call from.
Welcome. You are live on air. I think we're having some technical difficulties here. If you're talking, I cannot hear you. All right. If you want to call back, if you want to give that another shot, that's all right. But if not, we'll wrap this up shortly. We had an attempted call in through Google Voice. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been pretty fantastic. It's good to get a few calls this week, and we will be live hopefully for next weekend's race in Kansas. And I believe we'll be live for the race, the Xfinity race on Saturday. So look for us then. And we may also be live for the ARCA race. Let's see if it works this
Daytona.
Okay, I got you.
Hello, it's me
Hello,
again.
welcome back.
So, I have something to rant about again.
All right, feel free.
So,
Probably be our
Brad
last call, so
Keselowski.
make it count.
Okay, what was Brad Keselowski doing out there?
Let
What a move he made.
me pull up that video. I have no clue. So
Like,
what I believe he was doing is I believe he thought SVG had more room and would give him more room. But it was a pretty ridiculous move, you know, to go low enough to hit the inside wall.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I mean, I think that, you have your spotter in your ear most of the time saying, you're 3 wide, you're 4 wide, up top, 4 wide high, 4 wide high, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. I mean, that was just completely Brad's fault there.
Yeah, it was all on Brad.
I hated it too. I wanted to see that Red Sox car finish well.
Yeah, and I know he was like, I know he was expecting Shane to go higher, but you still have your spotter saying 4 wide up high. Like,
yeah, I feel like a lot of the blame on that incident, outside of Brad just making an aggressive move, is that most of the passes in this next-gen car happen on the restart. And so he knew, like, this is my opportunity to gain 5-6 positions. If I don't make this move, I might get passed by 5 or 6 people. So it's kind of kill or be killed. And he did kill a few guys.
yeah, I mean, and this is exactly like what Austin Hill did at Phoenix. He was like right down low and right in the wall. Like,
yeah,
I feel like they're misjudging the wall.
That does happen on occasion. You will just see a guy completely misjudge, a distance to the wall or distance to another car. And, it's kind of odd to see that out of our Cup drivers, but, every once in a while it'll get away from him.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I had to rant about.
All right. Well, it's good to hear from you today in the chat and good to hear from you in the calls. And thank you for calling in.
Hey, you're welcome. Nice to be in your chat. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, ladies and gents. I know I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been great. If you missed the post-race show, if you missed any of our broadcasts, you can go back and check that out. We should be live next week, I think, for the ARCA race. If there is one, I believe there is one. And we should be live for the Xfinity race. And more than likely, we'll go live for the Cup race, or at least do another post-race show like this. So look for us next week. Throughout the week, I do video game streams. I'll do NASCAR streams. I do random games, sometimes RoboCop, all this different stuff. So you never know what you might see on this channel. We've been around for almost 14 years at this point, so we have tons of content. Surely, out of my thousands of videos, there's one you can find you enjoy. But if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and come join our community. We have a pretty tight-knit group of people that are usually in our streams, so you'll see a lot of familiar faces, and we'd love to have you. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good one. Hope you guys have a good week, and I hope to see you all in the next one.